My name is Len, and I want to share a story of how God healed me from kidney failure and how His faithfulness carried me through one of the most challenging times of my life. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with kidney failure. The doctors said my kidneys were no longer functioning properly, and I needed dialysis. I didn't understand it at first, but soon I started feeling more and more drained, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I went through dialysis sessions, but nothing seemed to improve. I was losing hope, and every day felt like a struggle. One night, I was sitting in my room, feeling completely overwhelmed. I cried out to God, asking Him why this was happening and if He was still with me. That's when my life began to change. In the midst of my hopelessness, I came across a book on healing by Joseph Prince called Healing Promises. I didn't know much about the author at the time, but something about the title caught my attention. I picked it up, and as I read through it, I felt like God was speaking directly to me. The book was filled with scriptures and testimonies of healing, real, powerful stories of God's intervention. One passage in particular stood out to me: "By His stripes, we are healed." It wasn't just words on a page, it was a promise from God that I could hold on to. The more I read, the more I began to believe that healing was possible for me too. I held on to that book every day, reading and rereading the promises in it. I began to declare those scriptures over my life, trusting that God's word was powerful enough to heal me. I wasn't just hoping for a miracle, I was declaring it, standing firm in faith. Then, one day, I went for a routine test before my next dialysis. The doctor came into the room, and I'll never forget his face when he said, "Len, I don't know how to explain this, but your kidney function has improved. It's like your kidneys are healing." I was speechless. It felt like a dream. The doctor confirmed that I no longer needed dialysis, and my kidneys were functioning normally. That day, I walked out of the hospital in complete awe of God's grace and healing power. I had held on to His promises, even when everything around me seemed to say the opposite, and He came through for me in a way I could never have imagined. So, if you're watching this today and you're going through something difficult, whether it's an illness, a financial struggle, or emotional pain, I want to tell you that God's word is alive and powerful. There is no situation too hopeless for Him. Just like He healed me, He can heal you too. I want to encourage you to hold on to God's promises, like I held on to that book. His word is your weapon, your comfort, and your strength. Keep declaring it over your life. Keep praying, keep trusting, and watch as God works in your life. He is faithful, and He will never fail you. Thank you for listening to my story. I pray it encourages you to keep holding on to faith and trusting God.